With the release of Lechesis, we've been introduced to the first wave of 5.0 characters, and my oh my have they been spectacular. Starting off with Lyncis, she brought a unique take to Frost that looked anything but, with those graffiti splashes and colourful effects. What? As the main DPS for Frost teams, her burst damage can be strategically timed with all the other buffs from teammates to deal big damage in quick succession. She's also pretty straightforward to use, just that sometimes using her skateboard will get you stuck in the most random manner with no way to get out of. Damn. We then witnessed the marvel of Aster with her AOT-like movements and versatile roles for Fizz. Being a fortitude tank and the main DPS unit for our physical mains, Aster really lives up to her reputation in her design and simple kit. Among the latest units, Aster's movements and attacks feel the most complete and stable while fighting in singular instances or team modes. Not to mention, after getting her, one can completely forget about the jetpack, grapple hook, or even that whatchamacallit relic. Her movement tech feels so good. Then came Hipper, former captain of the Hope Fleet and Volt's main DPS. Equipped with a rapier and her classy robo-servant, Hipper provides huge damage for Volt mains once she's properly built with a good supporting cast.
She also has a beautiful haute couture in that majestic swimsuit of hers. Simply stunning.
The only problem? She's too much of a DPS with no supporting buffs. Volt is blessed to have Antoria pulling the strings. Say no more. Last but not least, we have Lechesis, our crazy cute flame nurse with a big heart and bigger threat in the form of her scythe. Lechesis takes up the role of main DPS for Flame, and being a Benediction main, she provides strong buffs for the team and the ability to execute bosses with low health. Her playstyle, however, leaves much to be desired as her attack patterns are complicated and her support moves are non-existent. In fact, you don't even need to do anything with her except execute the damn bosses when they're about to die, yo. Like what? As you can see, each of the characters represent their elements as main DPS, with their supporting cast being pure buffers. I suppose this is the current meta design for DPS, and each of them feel very similar to one another, with some differences in the supporting cast and also the gameplay rotations. New players that are deciding what element to go for, the next wave of characters may introduce a new style of gameplay that does not revolve around 2 buffers and 1 attacking weapon comp. If you just started the game, at this exact moment we are in the Flame banner, and Lechesis is the limited banner to choose from. If you love her design and want to be a Flame main, nice! Gather your pools and go get her. Lechesis is pretty beginner friendly and usable even at 0 stars. For those who prefer the other elements, Frost is up next with Helen, who may or may not be the main DPS unit of the team. We shall see. What's important would also be the weapons you collect from the game in terms of standard pulls and also event rewards that let you choose SSR weapons from those boxes. Here's a list of weapons you can choose when deciding what element you want to main. Events like the Scratch card will give you a set of physical weapons that's very helpful for you starting out as a beginner. What's not available at the moment are our altered characters. In Tower of Fantasy, the best pairings are often 2 elemental weapons that share the same resonance and 1 altered weapon to complement the team. Voidpiercer and Nola are the recent altered weapons still attached to the meta, with Fiona and Lynn and their Synesthesia systems lurking around. Also, Nanin providing some neat buffs with an inhabit feature. Since you can't get any of the latest altered units, you'd have to wait for the new altered banner, whenever that is, to obtain them. A common advice to new players and small investors is to pull for altered characters, as they last long in the meta and will never go into the standard banner. thus cementing their value in the big list of characters. At this point, we do not know for sure who the next altered will be, but one thing's for sure, it will be featured in all the top teams across every element, so save up those resources, my friends. Tower of Fantasy is pretty generous in the resource category. I've done up a chart that shows the approximate pulls you can get if you're new to the game, and every patch does give some free pulls, albeit it's not really a lot, but still, with good planning and active playing, you will be able to get the characters you want. Another important point to talk about is the difficulty, or lack of, in some of the game modes. We all know joint operations is super important, and once you're in the mode, your weapons are maxed out, so it's not really difficult to do it even if you solo it. Teaming up, of course, would be better, but sometimes, you just want to do it at your own pace. The more obvious ones are the Origin of War, FCE, Void Abyss, and Limited Raids. Ever since the hardest OOW season nearly obliterating all players that dared to challenge it, the game has suddenly forgotten how to game, with each new OOW season being easier than the previous. Some even called them 4-player bygone phantasm.
Ew.
Bosses are not so painful, FCE mechanics are nowhere to be seen, and nowadays, decently built teams are capable of beating Origins at its hardest. 2000% is no longer only doable by a team of Omega Whales, even Dolphin-level investments can conquer that difficulty. For better or for worse, it's still pretty welcomed because free-to-play can also enjoy those rewards and not just waiting for EZPZ difficulty. VA and Final Trial are starting to look like JO2. Day by day, they're getting easier and look very different from when they first launched. Again, it's not really bad when it's too easy, but at some point you get the feeling, what am I even doing? Or what do I even do when the game ends in 30 seconds? Or 10 seconds? I don't even know, man. I'd say probably the tougher challenges that need more than just some random teams are the Frontier Clash evolution at higher stages and also limited raids because of the mechanics. The point is, things are much easier nowadays and much more beginner-friendly for new players, which is good, don't get me wrong. The shift in difficulty levels is a good way to get people to invest in more weapons, more elements, and more of their time in Tower of Fantasy. Whales would always whale and look to one-up each other, that's nothing new. But for everyone else that's looking to build their first elemental team, I'd say just sit back, get to know the units, try out some new weapons, and who knows, you may just fall in love with the first one you see. Isn't that easy? Take your time, prepare your pools, build your teams, and I'll see ya in the next one.